Well, I have looked at this photo probably every day for the last, not recent, but as I was growing up in Swan Hill. It was hanging up on the mantelpiece there. And it's just a photo of Mum and Dad on the day that they got married. Dad was very, very resourceful. Dad was always upgrading. He made us change half a dozen times in a few years. In Lake Boga, he started off with a little paddock that he leased, and he grew peas and tomatoes as much as he could. Shared them with the rabbits. There was plagues of rabbits in those days, and they would eat everything, nearly everything. But Dad managed to make a bit out of the tomatoes and peas and stuff, and then upgraded, and he finished up in Murrawee. As little as we are here, we all worked on the farm. Benny obviously got away with it. Grace was always the cook and everything else. Mim was there next to her, and also with us. She was always more of a farm hand than a house hand. And we all picked tomatoes and apricots and nectarines and everything else. Our own recreation was to run away from the farm for a few hours, Dad not knowing, of course, and heading towards the channel, 40 degrees every day. So someone would have to stay on lookout, and the rest of us would be just floating around in the water. And when the snake would come flying past, they'd yell, "Snakes, snakes!" Everybody'd run out, the snake would go past, we'd hop back in the water. Mum, every time she had the opportunity to dress us up, she dressed us up. She'd always take a photo. She had this little brownie or whatever. She took some photos, and you can see we weren't exactly the fashion parade of the year, were we? Mum dressed us in whatever she could get. Happy birthday. Rather than a birthday, we didn't celebrate birthday parties as much as we did First Holy Communion, confirmations, baptisms. And you should have seen it. It was, again, the dozen chooks all boiled up and roasted, the pasta. And then the entertainment was all us kids in a circle with beer bottles in our hand, spoons in the beer bottles, and we'll rattle them. Yeah, we had our share of accidents on the farm, I suppose you could say that. It was Gracie's job. That's my sister, my older sister, to repair all our scars and scars. My brother Joe was sent home to get some drink for us because we were picking tomatoes, and he found this. We used to have big bottles of Coke in those days, 1.5 litres or whatever, big bottles of Coke. He filled it up with water and raced him back to the paddock. He tripped, didn't he? Yeah. Tripped, broke the bottle of Coke on the ground, and cut himself across here. Across where? Across his wrist, and blood everywhere. Grace saved him. She put a tourniquet on him, and apparently at school they taught her to put tourniquets. She put a tourniquet on him, and another rush job to the hospital. Grace decided it's what she wanted. She decided that she'd rather take a chance and live a normal life and continue the way she was living. I'm not sure that Mum was happy with the decision, but she had to go along with her. And unfortunately, it finished the way it did. Hi, Mum. Hello, darling. Most of my Italian friends went to tech school, Swan Hill Tech. But Mum wanted the best education for her kids, so she sent me to the high school so that I had the opportunity to be a lawyer or whatever. Her whole existence was based on the fact that she wanted to educate her kids. She needed to educate the kids, and that's why they worked so hard in the country and on the farm in Swan Hill. This particular day, we all got shuttled down to the showgrounds, Swan Hill showgrounds. You see there's a rope there, they put up a rope, and we all had to stand behind the rope because the Queen of England came to visit Swan Hill. This guy on the Queen's left-hand side here is the Mayor of Swan Hill. He showed the Queen around, but in front of the Queen, there's me. See here? I remember very plainly looking at her and listening to her because, it's like Martians coming down and because we're from Swan Hill, remember? we're a little country town, and I think that the most important people we ever see up there is probably the mayor. But I didn't even know the mayor existed, so, you know, who knows. It was Italian tradition to have a little black button on here. And she was walking slowly up, chatting to people and stuff, and she saw this tall, lanky bloke there with a black button, and she started to talk to me. Obviously, it must have been an English tradition as well, because she has to lose someone.
Do you remember what she said when you told her that your sister passed?
No, she just listened. She didn't interrupt or anything. She just listened, and that's it. It was really good. It was really comfortable to have her there so close, and actually being such a friendly person, such an important person, being so friendly.
So she just asked about your...
Yeah, she asked about the button and she asked about the school. I remember that much, and that was it. But anyway.
So you didn't tell anyone? You didn't like...
Nah, I didn't brag about anybody. I often wondered if she remembered me. I was going to write a letter one day and say, I'm the young fellow from Swan Hill High. Do you remember me? But I don't know. Mum wouldn't even believe me. She had just lost her daughter. Mum was in a real mess. She was 18, Katrine?
Nearly 19.
Nearly 19.
1 month away from
19.
Yeah,
That's right. When she, it was her decision actually. The doctor kept telling Mum and Grace, because Grace would have probably had a limited capability in her life for being a blue baby. She probably would have lived to be a ripe old age. We don't know this, but she'd be out of breath all the time, and there was never any chance of having a family. I think that was the biggest thing. The doctor said you can't have children because you wouldn't survive a labour with your heart. So he said, but we now know how to have an open heart surgery, and this is back in 1970. It just started, but there's a chance that we might be able to repair the valve or repair the part of the heart that wasn't functioning correctly, and everything will be okay. There was no tears when she went to hospital. We all were convinced that she was going to come home a better, healthier girl. So I remember she gave hugs and kisses to everybody. It took about an hour for her to go, because she came to Melbourne with Mum on her own. With Mum, and we stayed back, and she died on the operating table. And that was it. But anyway, not long after that, we were all packed up and come to Melbourne. That was it.